Good afternoon. I'd like to call the meeting to order. City of Belleville acknowledges we're meeting today on the traditional territory of many nations. We recognize this, honor the historic relationship of Indigenous peoples to this land and acknowledge our shared obligation to respect, honor, and sustain these lands and natural resources contained within them. We recognize all First Nations, Métis, and Inuit who call Belleville their home and support the need for cultivating a strong relationship with them. We look forward to fostering a path towards reconciliation, show respect for the Indigenous peoples who first currently live on this land where we now all reside together. Please remain standing for a moment of reflection from our city clerk.
May we be worthy custodians of all that has been entrusted to us. Help us to be concerned only for what will promote good government. May we bring to our council chambers minds that think and hearts that feel, always having respect for others, so that we may serve the people of our city in a helpful manner and for the good of all.
Please be seated. Disclosure of pecuniary interest and general nature thereof. Seeing none, attendance, we are all here tonight. I need a resolution for council meeting minutes of March 10th, 25 and March 18th, 25 be approved. Moved by Councillor Chatton, seconded by Councillor Thompson. Discussion, all in favor, carried. We have no deputations, but before we slip into committee of the whole, I just want to take a second here. We have some staff here in the audience, and I just want to talk about a $16.2 million grant that we received over the weekend. Through council's attendance at Roma, we had discussions with the federal government representatives there, and we were able to come up with an application for the Canadian Housing Infrastructure Fund, and was discussed with our senior leadership team. And I want to give credit to where credit's deserved with our senior leadership team, and that goes from our CAO, Matt McDonald, Director of Environmental Services, Perry DeCola, Director of Finance, Brandon Ferguson, Director of Engineering and Development Service, Stephen Ashton, city staff. They all got mobilized, and they turned this application around. I think it was probably in lightning speed for any type of application, but turned around in a couple of weeks, if not faster. And this project money will now go to the Avonlaw Pump Station, which is a $55 million project. So I'd like to specifically thank some other staff that we have here in the audience, and I think Nathan Giannopoulos here, who is the city's infrastructure and building analyst. Nathan, thank you from all our council. We'll give you an applause here. He worked on it hard. Deanna O'Leary, Manager Engineering and Deputy Director of EDS, provide technical background and rationale for the project and aligned it with other funding requirements. Deanna, thank you. They worked through finance with Brian McNevin, Manager of Finance, Deputy Treasurer Kyle Bertrand, Accounting Coordinator, Alex Young, the Asset Management Specialist. All three of you, thank you very much. And to top it off, we completed the most successful and largest federal government grant that we've received, over $16 million. So we are, as council, excited to see this moving forward. And again, staff, thank you for putting this on the table and getting it across the finish line for us. So thank you, staff. And from there, I need a resolution to rise and go committee of the whole at 4:06 p.m. Moved by Councillor Chatton, second by Councillor Enright Miller. All in favor, carried.
Okay, so council will rise and go into committee at the whole. Reports. The agenda shall include reports items that warrant individual attention from council, starting with 8A1, single source procurement of meter reading services. The resolution reads that pursuant to the Manager of Finance Deputy Treasurer's Report DDF-2025-02 and in accordance with Section 30.3 Single Sourcing of the City's Purchasing Bylaw 2023-183, the quotation from Olameter Incorporated be accepted to undertake meter reading services for the City of Belleville Water Division in the amount of $170,921.52 plus $22,000 $1,219.80 HST for a total amount of $193,141.32, and that the mayor and city clerk be authorized to sign the acceptance agreement on behalf of the corporation of the city of Belleville, and that the city clerk be authorized to fix the corporate seal, and that the 2025 operating budget be amended to increase by $11,000 to be funded by the Water Service Reserve Fund. Could I get a mover and a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Enright Miller, and seconded by Councillor Thompson. Any discussion? Councillor Thompson?
Yeah, I certainly happy to see this come to our table because over the last 2 weeks I've had at least 4 phone calls where meters are now sitting around 40, 45 years old on houses, and they've all of a sudden discovered that those outside meters have been broken, and they go inside and get the proper reading, and which ends up with the resident receiving a very large water bill. And we've tried to soften that blow with them, with working with the finance department, trying to soften that. But it's a concern if we're running meters that are 45 years old, by putting this extra money towards it, I'm not sure it's enough yet, but at least it starts us in the right direction. And I would hope that next year's budget, as much as I want to keep budget low, that we maybe make sure that our meters are kept up to date, because that's alarming when we're getting 3 and 4, and one of them received a bill of $2,400 and just our catch up. So it's important that we to replace these meters, and the quicker the better. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Thompson. Councillor Millet?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you to the Finance Director, this report, and I guess further to my colleague's question, this is simply for meter reading. This isn't for replacing meters, correct?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You're making the point that we should replace meters, but that's nowhere in this. Oh, okay. No, I just thought I'd missed something.
Through the chair to Councillor Thompson and Councillor Millett. It is actually the meter reading program. We do have a replacement program as well that we're diligently working on replacements. This is a very important part of that program as well, and it does also speak to what Councillor Thompson is looking for, and having as accurate of reads as possible, and that's to keep that service level high. That allows us to be alerted to issues where we may have meter reading issues, so that we can get them replaced as soon as possible. We do have an inventory too that we look through to make sure that we're identifying the ones that need to be replaced as soon as possible. But this program and having this service level where we have less estimated reads is very important as well.
So
Thank you.
may I just get something clarified then?
Councillor Thompson?
So this isn't replacing additional meters then, out of this money?
Through the chair to Councillor Thompson, this is not the replacement program. No, this is specific to the reading of the contract service for reading meters.
So, well, and I know it's maybe not relevant to this, but will we be seeing some further updates to replacing these meters? Because if we're getting 45-year-old meters, we better soon replace them.
Director of Finance?
Through the chair to Councillor Thompson, absolutely. And this is a part of the comprehensive plan of delivering a high level of service. We are very focused on the replacement of old meters and the benefits of new technologies where we can more efficiently get reads as well. So that is a program in place, and we bring on an annual basis a capital budget for meter replacements, which you've approved, and we've increased that in the past to try to address more of the replacement issues.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions? Yep. Councillor Carr, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The report speaks to formalizing adjustments to the city's expected service levels for meter reading. So through you to staff, can someone describe what those adjustments are in terms of the service level expectations? And then secondly, I'll pose a second question, is will the contract have remediation clauses or penalty for not meeting that level of service?
Could I ask which staff would be willing to answer that?
I believe the manager of finance would be the
Oh,
best person
sorry,
to
Manager
direct
of
that.
Finance. Thank you.
Through the chair to Councillor Carr. Yeah, absolutely. There are some specific levels of service that are expected as part of the quote that was received from Olimeter, one of which is a threshold of estimated reads for each area. So that's one that is major, and that will prevent a lot of the estimated reads that we are seeing currently under the contract. And another one is we are formalizing our vendor management program as well through our procurement bylaw. So that will be something we'll be actively monitoring.
And my second question is there any clauses in the contract if that service level is not met? Is there consequences for that, or how do we ensure that that level is met?
Yeah, through the chair to Councillor Carr. It's something we'd actively would be meeting with the vendor on to be able to see if there are any measures or solutions as a result of the contract. I don't know if the Director of Finance wants to speak to the procurement side of things either.
If you would, Director, please.
Through the chair to Councillor Carr. Yes, through the vendor performance management system as well, it's an escalating level of discipline or actions that would be required on the contract. The process really for vendor performance management is to have that open dialogue and continue to identify where issues resolve or where issues exist and where they can be resolved accordingly for the best interest of the corporation, but up to and including the termination of the contract if necessary.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions? All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. On to consent items. I'll go around the table, starting with my left. Councillor Thompson, is there anything you'd like to pull?
No, thank you.
Councillor Carr,
8B1, please.
8B1. And thank you. Councillor Enright Miller,
No, thank you.
Councillor Sue,
No, thank you.
Councillor Brown.
8B3, please.
8B3.
No, thank you.
Mayor, thank you. And Councillor Millette,
No, thank you.
Councillor Kelly.
Yes, 8CB.
Oh, we're not there yet, sir.
Oh, sorry, I'm in the wrong one.
That's okay. Well, I'll go your way first that time when we get to
Okay.
there. Okay, thank you. So with the exception, I guess, of 8B1, well, I guess, so the resolution for 8B2 reads, exemption request from noise bylaw 2011-180-2025 Quinte exhibition, that the Belleville Agricultural Society request for exemption from the provisions of noise bylaw number 2011-180 for the 2025 Quinte exhibition from August 28th to August 31st, 2025, and that the waiver of fees be approved. Could I get a mover and a seconder? Thank you, Mayor Ellis and Councillor Millette. Any discussion? All in favor? That is carried. So back to 8B1, motion for that the mayor and council receive the 2024 Fire and Emergency Services Annual Report, moved by Councillor Carr and seconded by Councillor Enright Miller. And discussion, please. Councillor Carr.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you, thank you, Chief, for this report. Certainly provides an excellent outline of what's occurring. A couple of questions. First one has to do with on the suppression page, and I know I've asked for another report, and I will expect a lot of details there, but since it's in front of us today, the Rural Division is showing 26 firefighters, and I did see on social media that there has been some recent hiring. Is there still the 3-to-1 ratio where for every volunteer you turn out, there should be 3 on staff to ensure appropriate coverage?
Through the chair to Councillor Carr, I'm not aware of a 3-to-1 ratio.
Okay. And just in terms of the Rural Division, is the volunteer firefighters, I know there's a little bit of time, but on track to achieve provincial certification by the deadline?
Through the chair to Councillor Carr, yeah, we're working hard at it. One of the big bonuses, some of the staff we just hired, I would say at least 75% of them are already coming with certification, which is huge. So Once we've onboarded the last of them, we're still working through some of the medical and background checks. We'll be starting up another certification course, and we'll be well on our way. We plan other certification programs later in the fall, and we are on track.
That's great, and it's good to hear that some of the new volunteer hires have come trained. That's excellent, or certified. Through you, Madam Chair, to my last question to the chief is page 12, there's a little bit of a breakdown, and I recognize that there's not a lot of space to add data, but perhaps maybe for future reports, is it possible just to get a breakdown of the call types and the numbers? I recall seeing, I think it was in one of the consultants' reports, the breakdown of the calls is, and I believe medical was quite high. Accidents were second or third or something, and fire calls were actually quite lower. It would be interesting to see those variables change. I see that obviously calls, total emergency calls have gone up, but to get an idea and in the report, Madam Chair, it talks about, the diverse aspects of fire response, that it's not just suppression, there's many other aspects to fire service. Is it possible in future reports to get a breakdown of those calls and by call type?
If you would, Chief.
Through the chair to Councillor Carr, absolutely. So this was our first kick at an annual report. Reviewed a lot of different ones from across the province and across Canada. Some of them are the 200-page reports, and we didn't want to go down that road. It was more just, let's give them the highlights. So we are absolutely open to feedback, and if there's things we can do to make it better, absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, and thank you. All in favor for, thank you, that is carried. And into appointments of member to Youth Engagement Committee 8B3. Could I get a mover for that resolution that pursuant to the City Clerk's report number CC 2025-05, appointment of member to Youth Engagement Committee, a bylaw to amend bylaw number 2023-09, appointments bylaw, be prepared for Council's consideration. Councillor Brown, you had pulled it, and seconded by Councillor Kelly. And discussion, please. Councillor Brown.
Thank you, Madam Chair. A question. The candidate that's being recommended here is a member of the media. So I would be interested in knowing how we will manage that information that's discussed with the committee level and not yet approved by council. How will we avoid that information moving its way into the public media?
I'm going to ask the City Clerk perhaps to address that, if you would, please.
Through the chair to Councillor Brown, it would stand the same as any other members. Our procedural bylaw, I believe, has sections in there with respect to the information that's retained from closed session. So if it's on a public agenda, which is posted, anybody can see that. The closed session stuff, obviously, anything that would go to a closed session, and it's probably much less at a committee level, would be subject to all of those rules. I'm not familiar with the candidate that has come through from community services.
I'm just going to ask, I think Councillor Kelly chairs this committee, so he could possibly give some brevity to it.
Thank you, through you, Chair. It's been a challenge to get people to step up. The Youth Engagement Committee for the City of Belleville has been dormant for the last couple of years. We've had 3 new members in the last 8 weeks. This gentleman applied on his own, and I worked with this gentleman. I'll be transparent. I had no idea he was interested in the committee. He showed up at the last meeting, the last couple of meetings, very engaged, and all our agenda is public record before the meeting starts. And I think the Youth Engagement Committee is in the business to welcoming people, then saying no because of their profession.
Further comments, Tracy, if you would. Thank you.
Through the chair, I think just echoing the comments from both the city clerk and from the chair, Sean Kelly, We are really proud actually to be getting more members on the team and really representing a diverse aspects of the community. And quite honestly, having someone from the media will be a benefit to us as we start to engage others and try and promote some of the activities of the youth committee. So very similar to other members of the committee, we have someone from Loyalist College, and we're really actually leveraging those community partnerships to help get the word out and to really, I think, help us achieve the mandate that has been set out by the committee and approved by council.
Thank you so much. Anything further? All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. On to 8C. Councillor Kelly, which one would you like?
I'd like to pull Kingston via.
Kingston, that would be 8C2B.
That's correct.
Excellent, thank you. Okay, and Councillor Millette, anything to pull?
No, thank you.
Your worship?
Already been pulled.
Okay, and Councillor Brown?
No, thank you.
Councillor Sue?
No, thank you.
Councillor Enright Miller?
No, thank you.
Councillor Carr?
No, thank you.
Councillor Thompson?
No, thank you.
Okay, thank you. With the exception of 8C2B, can I get a mover and a seconder for accepting the, thank you, Councillor Thompson, and a seconder, Councillor Millette. And any discussion? All in favor? Those are carried. So 8C2, request support of the following letters resolutions. The resolution reads, City of Kingston regarding resolution number 2025-116 with respect to high-speed rail project. Moved by Councillor Kelly since he pulled it. Okay, and seconded by Councillor Enright Miller. And discussion, please.
Thank you. Through you, Chair. We all received in our package from the City of Kingston support for the Via Rail, high-speed rail. It's a 5-year project. The train will take off in Toronto and end up in Quebec. It'll go 300 kilometers per hour with stops in Ottawa, Quebec City. There's Peterborough talk as well. Kingston reached out to municipalities and to Belleville, hoping that we will support their letter to the province and the feds to get the support to have it stop in Kingston. And in the ask from the City of Kingston, if Kingston's a stop on the high-speed Via Rail, smaller communities in Eastern Ontario would benefit as well. So we're close to Kingston. I think this would be a good thing for us to rally behind the City of Kingston for the ask with Via Rail to make the stop here in Eastern Ontario. At least consider it.
Thank you. Any further questions or discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Rise and report, a mover and a seconder for that. Thank you, Councillor Carr, and seconded by Councillor Sue. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you.
Okay, I need a motion for bylaws number 2025, 48, 49, 50, 51 be read and passed. Moved by Councillor Thompson, second by Councillor Enright Miller. Discussion? All in favor? Carried. New business. Seeing I have a couple things here. I'll start. First of all, I need a motion that bylaw number 2025-53, a bylaw to approve the authorization and the execution of a medical service agreement between the corporation, City of Belleville, and Dr. Dillon be read and passed this 24th day of March 25th. Moved by Councillor Carr, seconded by Councillor Chatton. Discussion? All in favor? I think that's number 13 or 14. So again, great job by our Dr. Recruiter. Second, I need another bylaw, that bylaw number 2025-54, to approve the authorization, the execution of an agreement between the corporation of the City of Belleville and the John Howard Society of Belleville and the District and Canadian Mental Health Association of Hastings, Prince Edward, and that a 2025 operating budget be amended to add $3,500,000 to the bridge expenditure budget and be funded from federal grants. Moved by Councillor Chatton, seconded by Councillor Millette. Discussion? All in favor? Carried. New business from anybody else? Seeing none. Announcements. Motions. Oh, we got a long one. I didn't want to read that. Motions. Take that as read. If I could simply move it. Councillor Chatton, Councillor Wright Miller. Discussion. Councillor Carr.
Thank you, Mayor, and the motions regarding Loyalist College presentation. I'd like to make an amendment, actually, if I could. Amend the motion by removing references to the International Student Program. If I get a seconder, I'll debate that. Thank you.
Councillor Brown, second it. Okay. Councillor Carr.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. So Loyalist College presentation outlined chronic underfunding by the provincial government. Said that it was chronically underfunded, with the province of Ontario having the lowest per student funding for post-secondary institutions of all provinces in Canada. And the presentation noted that over the past 17 years, Ontario colleges have been expected to serve a growing number of domestic students while receiving less financial support. In real terms, operating grants have decreased by 17%, reducing the resources available to sustain high-quality education and student services. And we were also told that provincial grant funding had not changed in real dollars for a decade. That's the real issue, and one that we should be advocating for improvements. The college's presentation actually says, and I'm going to quote, colleges have, out of necessity, relied on international student tuition revenues to help subsidize the delivery costs of domestic programs, make capital improvements and investments, and deliver responsive student services. It was a Band-Aid solution, and post-secondary institutions capitalized on it. Many colleges started satellite campuses for international student tuition revenue, including Loyalist College, with their Toronto campus in a business park building, which we have learned that will be closed because of the changes. In fact, it was reported to us that Loyalist College will experience a significant loss in revenue, with a projected $40 million decrease in international tuition revenue for 25-26, and an additional $8 million shortfall in the following year. The international student program at the federal level has had issues. Earlier this year, Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada reported that close to 50,000 international students who received study permits to come to Canada were reported as no-shows at the college and universities where they were supposed to be taking their courses. In addition, housing experts such as Dr. Mike Moffat, who has consulted for the federal government in their housing portfolio, noted just yesterday that changes to international student and immigration policies almost entirely drove Ontario's post-2015 surge in housing demand. On a local level, I believe we're all aware that there is limited on-campus accommodation here at Loyalist. So as such, we've seen an exponential demand for housing, with many single-family homes being bought up by quote-unquote investors and packed to the rafters with students. If the provincial funding to Ontario post-secondary institution was equivalent to other provinces, then it was clear there wouldn't be a reliance on international student tuition. Loyalist College said it was out of necessity that they relied on this revenue. In my opinion, this issue is singular focused, and so should the motion be on calling the Ontario government to properly invest in post-secondary institutions. A well-educated population serves us well. So I think at the end of the day, and while I agree that it's twofold, and from the college's perspective, they're looking for revenue any way they can get it, but the reality is the immigration file is a separate entity and has its issues. The federal government realized that there was an impact on housing, and obviously there's some issues related to how study permits are actually issued and do people actually show up and go to school. I think that we should be singularly focused on the fact that the Ontario government for many, many years and decades has simply come up short, and we should be calling on them to invest in our citizens in order to serve us well in the future. Now, don't get me wrong, international students have their place, but again, the over-reliance on it for a revenue stream, setting up satellite campuses knowing that you can gain revenue to then use that revenue that you generate in Toronto to build something new on campus here is a little misplaced, and I think with proper revenue from the province, we would have never got into this situation to begin with. So I think it's best to be singular focused on this and put the pressure where the pressure solely deserves, and that's the provincial government in appropriately funding post-secondary education. Yes, the amending motion was simply to remove any references in the motion pertaining to the International Student Program.
Is there a seconder on that?
Councillor Brown, seconded.
Councillor Brown, yeah. Well, Your Worship, I'm going to support the amendment, and I'm also going to ask that, or unless I miss it, nope, there he is, Tyler Alsop. We need our member to forcefully pass on the message Councillor Carr just outlined so eloquently. The issue has become that successive governments at the provincial level have allowed provincial college or community colleges, to wither on the vine and find their own ways of sources of income. Yard sales didn't cut it. They had to start attracting international students, I guess. But in all seriousness, this is a tragedy. The community college system was the envy of North American education, and former Premier Bill Davis created it. As I said, the last council meeting when we had representative from Loyalist College, the president himself was here. Mr. Davis himself must be spinning in his grave at the state that the government has allowed this, the community colleges. We seem to have money for tunnels under the 401, highways to nowhere, through swampland that nobody, or marshland, and farmland that nobody wants. But when it comes to educating our youth, it seems that we leave community colleges to try and find any and every source of income, and it was wrong. It was wrong to include, or use as a scapegoat the international students, and I'm going to fully support this motion. Thank you.
Okay, we'll vote on the amending motion now. All in favor? Carried. Okay, back to the original motion. All in favor? Carried. Okay, notice of motion announcements. We'll go up Councillor Thompson's side. Announcements.
No, thanks.
Seeing that coming around. No announcements. Oh. Councillor Kelly, you almost missed the gate on that one. Councillor
Thank you, through you, Mayor. Appreciate the time tonight. A few announcements. We had an earlier conversation just moments ago about the Youth Engagement Committee with the city. Boy, it's been exciting the last 2 months working with the city staff, Nikki DeHaan, Tanya Grierson, and Tracy Newton, who's right behind me. Youth Engagement Week in the province of Ontario is May 1 to 7. We have 3 new members. Myself, along with Councillor Chatton, will be going out to schools in the next few weeks, meeting with principals and student reps to build up stronger relationships. Also, too, we're really going to focus on students in our area in the city of Belleville get free transportation. We're working closely with the Algonquin Lakeshore Catholic School Board and Hastings Prince Edward Public School Board to get more students engaged. Right now, we just have 57 students as of last week with the Catholic School Board, and we need to move this forward. Think of that, parents that are watching or listening to this. Your son or daughter can get around the city of Belleville, compliments of the city. Also, too, we had a public skate march break. It was sold out. 13 plus is the age to get on the youth committee. We can feel the renewed energy, the momentum. Lots of good things happening. It increases your self-esteem. It has a positive impact in your community, empowers yourself, and it develops skills. So if you're interested in the Youth Engagement Committee, contact us here through City Hall. And you get community hours, exactly, for high school. Thank you, Councillor. Also, to another announcement, a friend of the city, David R. Miracle. He lives in Tandanaga, part of the Mohawks of the Bay of Quinte. Celebrated this past weekend with his wife, Kim, and some friends, his 40th anniversary in showbiz. He's a true fan of the city. He's a very talented musician and artist. He has helped us in our city with truth and reconciliation in the past, and he's always been there when we've asked. So this past weekend in the county at Base 31, David R. Miracle celebrated his 40th anniversary with his wife, Kim, and friends in showbiz. And finally, I know the mayor referred to it earlier tonight, the Canadian Housing Infrastructure Fund. We received $16 million for for the Avonlaw Sanitary Pumping Station. 9,000 new residents, and the West End will be a part of that new project. So in the last several weeks, we received $27 million from the federal government. And I just wanted to thank the mayor for his enthusiasm and support, and the councillors that were there at breakfast. There was Councillor Millette, Councillor Enright Miller, and Councillor Sue. We were at the Roma conference in Toronto. So the story behind it is the minister, Nate Erskine Smith, came to our table. He recognized the mayor. They were MPs together in Ottawa. And we got talking at the breakfast table. I asked the question, is there any funds for Belleville? He went on to tell us that there's this new program. So the mayor and I and Nate started taking notes what we needed to do, along with the support from the other three councillors over breakfast. We got that email. I think I checked this morning. It was sent to Stephen Ashton by 9:20, and we still went on and did the rest of the work at the Roma conference, and Councillor Chatton was there. So here we build a relationship. There's so many benefits to going to these conferences. That's a $16 million benefit to the city, and thanks to Stephen Ashton and the team, the mayor has acknowledged them tonight, but that was a quick turnaround from January to last week, 16 million, and building relationships, Mayor, with the minister, well done.
Thank you. Building bridges. Okay, announcements. Councillor Thompson, you skipped by.
Yeah, just, and in that, matter of fact, I'm going to the Good Roads Conference this weekend. So we hope to get a little more than what you brought back.
Okay, quick on proclamations. We have National Epilepsy Day. Jazz Appreciation Month is April. April is Month of the Military Child. April 28th is Teal Up Day. April 2nd is World Autism Day. April 4th to 10th is National Dental Hygienist Week. April be Donor Month, and April 7th is Green Shirt Day. April 9th is Global Wellness Day. And with that, I need a confirmatory bylaw, that bylaw number 2025-52, a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council meeting held on March 24th, 25th be read and passed. Councillor Thompson, Councillor Enright Miller, all in favor, discussion carried. And we're at motion to adjourn. So motion to adjourn, Councillor Brown, seconded by, who wants to go home? Councillor Sue. All in favor, carried. Thank you staff again.